right. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm excited to be here.
Me too.
I am Dr. Dana.
I'm Laura.
And this is Business Besties in Branson. And we're excited today to be with someone new. I have not met you like today. This is our first time to meet.
It is.
It is. So will you introduce yourself and tell us about you?
Absolutely. I'm here today with the business BnD Unlock and Key, and we are a universal locksmithing company here in Branson. My name is Breezy. We have a pretty diverse set for our locksmith because we can do anything from older models to new. We do more than the lockouts. We actually
Put this
way.
Yeah, a little
There
closer
you go. Yeah, because you're
better?
going in and out.
I know
Yep,
I could
okay.
hear me. So what we do is we have the NASTIV security clearances to be able to pull key codes by VIN number. And so
Nice.
that allows us to get those keys when you've lost all of your keys. We stay mobile. That way we can go to your vehicle and you don't have to tow it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I guess I always wondered it because, what happens if I lose this key, or what happens if, right?
right.
Yeah.
Now I know I can call you.
Yeah,
right?
please call us. Yes.
Yes.
So we can clearance back further than 10 years. So we get a lot of the referrals from the dealers around here.
Nice.
Tri-Lakes is one of our biggest referrals.
Wow.
And right now we currently don't have any social media. We're all a word of mouth business. So this is fantastic that you guys invited us today,
yeah.
invited me here.
Well, it was so funny
So-
because you came in last week after the Brew Crew and you're like, I want to be on your podcast. I'm like, yes, I knew you. I wanted to talk to you because of Berta. And so I was like, thank you. I'm so excited.
Yes, Berta is fantastic. And I just went in there one day buying groceries and her and I just kind of clicked.
Nice. Nice.
I loved when we had Berta on here.
I
It
know.
was so fun. This is one thing I really love about this is just meeting new people and things I didn't even know existed. So, of course, because you're like, I don't have social media, so it's word of mouth. Get social media. I'd be happy to help you.
Yes.
Right? Because that is word of mouth. It's just, it does all the work for you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still going to do word of mouth, but social media is also another mouth that runs
Right.
constantly.
Did you claim your Google name on Google?
I did. It is
Okay,
the
good.
BnD Unlock
Perfect.
and Key on Google.
I absolutely love the name.
I was just about to say, I like that. So
It all rhymes. B&D, Unlock and Key.
So it's kind of cheesy. It's
No,
my
it's not.
name.
I like
It's-
it.
It's Breezy and Dale.
okay.
And so Dell and I have been together for over 20 years, and we had a different track of life for the first half, and the second half we decided to work together every day, and it's worked out.
And you're still married.
We are.
Okay.
Yes.
It's working
Well,
good.
welcome to our club. That's what we do, right? Like we're married and work a business. My husband and I work a business together.
Yeah,
Right.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So welcome to our club. It's
Yeah.
nice to have you here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say some days I absolutely love it. Like God put us together for a reason. And now here we are after 30 whatever years. And now we get to work together.
Right.
Right. But because God knew if we started that way, we would have killed each other.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
I definitely don't think it's a fate for your younger part of the first
No.
part of your marriage. And
Oh, no. Marriage is hard enough. And
That's
true.
adding that dynamic,
Right.
whew, a big one.
But I think once you get older, you kind of realize all the time that passed.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. So I've got a question for you. So, these cars that have, okay, our car has a fob.
Mhm.
There's no key.
Right.
And, you have to press a button. So if we lost that, would you be able to make a new one? Or are you able to get us into the car? Or how does that work? Okay, say for I don't know. I lock it in there and the key is dead. I can't even get into the car. How does this work?
So you actually still do have a cylinder that unlocks your car, and some of them are hidden behind little gadgets. So we pop up in those little gadgets. We have a programmer that programs into your security system, and I'm actually going after this to program a remote start.
I had no
Wow.
idea.
No,
I had
neither.
no idea. Wow, that's amazing.
Can you so do you install things like remote start, or you just start them up?
We
Yeah.
don't.
Okay.
When we first started, there was a lot of different things we wanted to touch into, but it's such a broad band
Sure.
with programming and getting keys, with key codes, etc. That's kind of where our main focus is.
Mhm.
We don't do a lot of the cylinder work, like taking the keys, the locks apart and rebuilding them.
Okay.
That's something that we don't really focus on because it's so time consuming.
Gotcha.
Mm.
But they're there's just so many avenues to the lock. It's unreal. So you're driving your car, you lose your key, it just becomes nothing but a box.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Right. You can't do
can't do
anything.
anything with it.
No.
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh. Think about people, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I swear to God, this has happened. Maybe not to me, but this happened. Your remote start, you got your key sitting in your house, you restart your car, you drive off and you turn your car off, and then you're stuck.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because you didn't have that key, and it was fine while you were driving.
Absolutely.
So I used to think that it would never let you leave. Oh, you can leave.
Oh, yeah.
You can leave.
Yeah, you can definitely leave. In the cars that are like, absolutely, you're never going to lock your keys in your car. Well, we've had many tourists come down here on vacation, throw them in their suitcase, put the suitcase in the very back of the car. Well, then it's buried, that transmitter. And so they're
Oh.
locked out.
Okay.
Oh,
So
shoot.
we will go let them in. They'll find their keys. That's all fine. But, I didn't realize I've always wanted to help people.
Yeah.
That's the first half of my life. I worked in nonprofit, at-risk families. That was my heart.
Mhm.
And so I still get to be able to dive into that just a little bit because we'll even get some calls up here from the stay motels
Sure.
that they've lost their cars, and now these people, instead of they're living in their cars,
Oh, shoot.
so they can't move their home,
Right.
right?
Right.
They can't go anywhere. They can't get groceries. They can't. You don't really think about what your car does until you don't have it.
Oh, yeah.
And
Sure.
so it's not as simple as going to the mechanic and saying, "Hey, now what's wrong with my car?"
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have a key, I can't go anywhere.
Right.
And
Right.
so that's kind of the heart of your vehicle, and we really enjoy it.
Oh, that's
it's a lot of fun.
amazing.
I love that you see this as a service and helping other people. It's not like I just come and, open your car or locksmith,
Right.
I'll make a key or this, but I actually provide a service to people and I
Yes.
help them. I absolutely love that.
And I do. I mean, the moms especially like, oh my gosh, I have it. This is a true story. So we had a mom who had a brand new baby. This baby was 3 weeks old and they needed to get to a checkup. And they're like, I've lost my key. And she was in hysteria. Her 2-year-old had flushed the keys down the toilet.
Oh, my
goodness.
gosh. Holy cow.
So we actually were like, okay, it's no problem. So within minutes, we were able to break it, get into the system, not break in. That's a
Right,
bad word.
right.
That's a bad word with the locksmith. Okay. But we were able to get into the security system, get her key, cut it, get her to the doctor in time so that she didn't miss that first 3-week checkup.
I'll be darned.
And you can do all of that right there on site. So
we actually do everything at our
Yeah.
home.
Okay.
Just basically because we use a laser cutter.
Okay.
And so we can do all of the newest stuff with the Sidewinder keys. We can do the older keys. The laser cutters have to be calibrated
Yes.
a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we haven't really found the right system to keep those in the car. And we haven't really found the safetiest
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
system
Yeah.
to
yeah.
keep that laser cutter in the car.
Yeah.
So walk me through this. If I call you and I say like, hey, I can't find my keys. I don't have little ones, thank God, to flush them down the toilet. Like I can't even
Right.
imagine.
Right.
I mean, I can imagine a kid doing that for sure. But, well, my little wiener dog, maybe he's mad or I don't know. Anyway.
He'll bury him in the
Right,
backyard.
right. That's it. And I can't find my keys. So I call you. So then what is the process? You're able to make one for me and bring it out?
So we have to go by a system.
Okay.
And that basically looks like having proof of ownership.
Okay.
So we can do one of three things. We can do, actually, I think 4. We can do your registration, your title, your bill of sale, or your registration insurance card.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
so once you provide one of those things to me in your driver's license to prove, okay, this really is my car,
Right.
then we can go into the system. I have a national security identification number. So I put that into the system, and then we have a rolling authentication number
Mhm.
Right.
that comes through all the time. And so that's always changing, and I have to make sure that that and my number fit.
Yes.
So once that's done, then I get the security clearance, and I go into the national database with your VIN number, and then it'll pull up a key code.
Wow.
I'll
So
be
that
darned.
key code patches your car. Sometimes there's a PIN code.
Right.
Sometimes those PIN codes change. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of
Sure.
memberships we have to have. There's a lot of, different things to keep up to be able to be in the now of getting into the security of your car.
Wow. I really had no idea. Like I don't know what I would do if I didn't have my keys. I mean, now I do. So I'm glad we have this podcast, right? Because I would call you. But I don't know. How do people know? Like,
No, but I do have a
No.
question.
yeah.
Can you do this on houses too?
Well, I'm going to throw a plug in here because we are so busy with the cars. The domestic side of things is nothing that we've ever really been interested in.
Mhm.
There's a great little company on right off of Main Street down there. They're called Branson Lock and Key,
Okay.
and they're great colleagues of ours. So anything car-wise, they send our way, and anything domestic-wise, we send their
Oh
way.
my goodness.
Nice.
And
Isn't
they're
that amazing.
just a little family-owned business as well.
Right?
They're great people.
I was
And-
wondering, like,
Yeah.
I ditched my keys to the house, so we have now a keypad. And this is all great and fine until the day that your granddaughter locks the top lock. And
Oh,
you can't
right.
get in. So it's like, I would need someone to come in and uncode the top lock because I
Right.
don't even know what the code is for it. So
And
it's
they,
like,
they do that.
yeah,
And they
I
do
didn't
that.
even, I was wondering if that was, since you were talking about codes, I'm like, I wonder if they can get into my house that way.
Yeah. So a lot of our referrals come from them. I
Okay.
mentioned the word of mouth. So we're a mobile business, so we have a home office.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so we don't really have a storefront, but
Right.
they do. And so when people walk in and ask about keys, they just send them our way.
That's fantastic.
That's absolutely fantastic. I think about that because people say to me, like, well, I don't want to know we're in the private chef business and we're mobile as well. We work out of the home, but go other
Right.
places and cook. And so, they'll say, well, you don't want to know this private chef or you don't want to be friends with them. And I'm like, what? Well, why wouldn't I want to be? Because
Right.
that's networking, right?
Right.
So I can't cover this for you, but I know 4 other private chefs who
Right.
might be able to work for you. So I love that you're networking with them
Yes.
and saying like, I do cars, they do houses, right?
Mhm.
And man,
And
I
they're
love it.
not the only other ones. There are other locksmiths that do cylinder work. I'm like, hey, we don't do this, so we can refer you to here.
Right.
Mhm.
It is all about networking.
It
you
is.
know,
It is.
and
I think we've been
meeting
saying
people
that
and-
since our first
Yeah.
podcast.
Network. Yeah.
Yes, it makes a
That's how we
village.
found
It
you,
truly
too.
does.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So I'm curious, how did you get into this? I mean, you came
I
from a
agree.
nonprofit background. So how did this present itself and how did it look when did you look at your husband one day and say, hey, let's unlock
No,
cars?
I'm going to tell you the truth.
Okay.
So my
okay.
husband was sitting out by, a little fire pit and his little feet up and he's drinking Corona. I don't even know if this is good or not on
Oh, it's
podcast.
No,
this
you're
is
good.
real world.
Okay,
It
so
is.
real world. All right, so he was kicking back and he was drinking a Corona, and we had just moved here. I've been from Webster County my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
and when we got down here, he had always done concrete,
Mhm.
and we were like, okay, do we expand? Do we invest in equipment? What are we going to do? Do I go back to work for nonprofit? I was an IBCLC, so I worked at the hospital a lot with new moms that have just had babies, and I know the hospital staff, and I was like trying to decide. Okay,
Right, right.
Right.
so fast forward, he comes running in the house and he's like, I know what we're going to do. What are we going to do? He's like, we're going to be locksmiths. And I was like,
What?
Right.
He's like, think about this, okay? So when we were younger, we had a Durango, and the key, all it did was come apart. We didn't lose it. It came apart. Well, the mechanisms have to be paired together
Right.
to run your vehicle.
Okay.
So we learned the hard way that after $800 investing in this key for my car,
Right.
you have to have all these steps in order to drive with one key. So that was kind of in the back of our mind, piled away. We had to tow it. We had to get a new key. It had to be programmed. It had to be cut. And in 1 week, he was having a really bad week. He locked himself out of his truck on one job site 3 different times.
Oh,
Wow.
He had to call
my
the same
gosh.
locksmith 3 different times.
Oh my goodness.
And it was, over $100 every time. And that was
Right.
back a few years ago.
Wow.
So it was like I was sitting here, thinking, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And he said, it just hit me. There's not really a lot of locksmiths around here.
Right.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So we started out with the lockouts. And then once we kind of were doing that for a little while, we realized there's more to this.
Yeah.
Like, people need keys. What do they do when they don't have any keys? And I'm going to tell you the truth. I had more security background checks to become NASTIV certified than I ever did work in nonprofit.
Oh,
Wow.
be darned.
Wow.
Wow.
I really did.
Wow.
I've worked in government agencies all over, and this was really hard to get into.
I'll
So
be
do you have
darned.
to take classes and get licensing? How does that work?
We've done everything all over the
Okay.
gamut. Missouri's not especially strict on the licensing part of it, but we have gotten all of the certifications, everything we needed just in case.
Okay.
We work with an attorney that keeps us with all of our paperworks.
Right.
We're working in people's cars every day, and
Sure.
so we want to have that. We have $1 million insurance coverage. Not that I want anybody to use
Right.
Nope.
that.
I understand. We have
but
one
we
too.
definitely have A to Z on
Right.
what we need to run this business.
Nice.
And how did you know that? Because you work nonprofit, right? So is this the first business that you've started?
Besides my husband's concrete business,
Okay.
which was just a small, good old boy country, concrete business, which
Right.
he's very good at it. He's been to Las Vegas. He's done the Master of Concrete degree. I mean, he's decorative concrete. He can do it all. But again,
Does
down
he still do
here-
concrete?
Does he still do
We
it?
get that question a
Okay.
lot. What he does now is if he'll do a set and get, is what he calls it. If
Mm-hmm.
somebody already has it set and ready to go, he'll come in and pour it. But as far as getting it set up and everything, it's not really his.
Mm-hmm.
But he does do a set and get.
I'll be there.
Wow. I also had no idea that somebody comes in and sets it up, and
No.
then somebody comes in and pours the concrete. Like it's different
He's
people.
had a few jobs down here like that,
Wow.
but just because honestly, that is something that needs to be, I guess, saturated because there's not a lot of there is, but there isn't.
Right.
Huh.
We run into a lot of people that want concrete work.
I'll be darned.
Well, and I'm sure with the amount of tourists that we get here in Branson, they're locking their keys in their car. They can't find their
Absolutely.
keys. And probably their 2-year-old has flushed it down the toilet.
Absolutely. We do get a lot of
Yeah.
tourists. We got a lot of people that are like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? It's my vacation. And so we try to be fair. We try to be fair, with the monetary side of it. We try
Right.
to be fair with our time. And especially at Silver City, we
sure.
get a lot of calls for that area over there.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, we'll tell them if you guys have the ability to be able to wait at night
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and then fill out all your paperwork for Silver City, they do look for their keys. So a lot of times they'll find their keys for them, but when they don't, we run out right over the next morning and get them back on the road.
I'll be
Wow.
darned.
Wow.
So, do you guys ever have the need that you're going to have to hire somebody in the future? Do you think?
It's kind of it's Branson.
Yeah.
Right.
You get really slow in the winter,
Yeah.
just like anyone. When the
Yeah.
tourists go out, the business slows down.
Mm-hmm.
And in the summer, it is really busy. So in the summer days, you're thinking, oh my goodness, yeah, I could definitely hire someone.
Yeah.
Right.
But just find that busy to slow ratio
Oh,
of
yeah.
keeping someone employed.
Yeah. That would be hard.
I don't know. The hope for the future is yes, of
Yeah.
course.
That would be.
We'd love to.
Yes. Kind of like
I
the private
agree.
chefing.
Yes,
If I
I
can
agree.
send somebody out and I'm still making money, yes.
Yes, I want to do
Right.
that all day long, right?
Right.
So, like like a future vision. Like right now,
Yes.
of course not. But you start small. I've got somebody who's working for me
Right.
a little bit at a time, and then now we're ready to get you your own truck, get yourself moving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then
yes.
10 years from now, which you've got plenty of time. You're young, We're like counting down the years. Oh my God, we only have 10 good
well, I
years.
know.
But you've got plenty of good years, that you could say like, hey, we're going to make this business where it runs itself. And then
Right.
we just go to Vegas
love
or we
it.
go to Hawaii.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely a vision for sure. I've looked into grants, things like that.
Oh, no
Sure.
kidding. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Are you finding any? Or
I'm like,
are you, I know, I'm like, tell us about these grants.
I was like,
I
grants,
think
we're
that-
waiting.
I think that's like unfortunate in this area. I haven't found a lot for Stone and Taney County area
Mhm.
Right.
for grants.
No.
Okay.
It's like they don't feed them this way
Right.
as much as they do Greene County and that area, etc.
It's funny because we've talked about grants, and
We have.
that's one of our things that we're kind of starting to work on with grants. And like, I talked to one grant writer, and they're $35 an hour, and they're like, "Yeah, we find the grants," but I'm like, "How many hours are we talking before we even get to the
Right.
actual writing part?"
Right.
So I do know there's one called Hello Alice.
Yes.
I've had zero success with it, but I don't know if that's because I've always gone to them for our gun business. And they're like, I don't think so. But I'm going to go back to them for my other business and see if I can generate anything that way. Have you
Right.
tried Hello Alice?
Yes. Yep. No luck on my end yet. There are a lot of women-owned business grants.
Mm-hmm.
They're just a little bit further out. You got to look St. Louis, Jefferson City.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few, but it's definitely a hide and seek on these
Yeah.
grants for sure. Because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I think this is gonna go, but then it ends up in a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, so, okay, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Young Sheldon.
Yes.
But in Young
Yes.
Sheldon,
I
he
have.
created a database of grants. And so I was watching that episode going, okay, I know this is a fictional story, but is there really something out there like
I'm
that?
sure. Well,
I
I'm
mean-
sure if there's not, somebody could create it, like-
Sure.
but again, it would be finding those grants. Like,
Yeah.
where do we find them besides just doing a simple Google search?
Right.
Yeah. It's going to have to be, it's like not Google page 1. We're at Google page 100. Like, you're
Yes.
going to have
Exactly.
to dig to
Yes.
get to
Exactly.
all the
Yeah,
things that
I
are out
actually
there.
just did a webinar with a really great gal. I'll send her to you. Her name's Mary Overby,
Okay.
and she does grants. She does financing. And she's actually just a friend of mine.
No
And
kidding.
Nice.
so I hopped on her webinar, and they kind of did this little quick, here's some ideas on grants. I'll send her to you because
Wow, I would love to.
Wait, yeah, is she
She's-
local?
she's Greene County.
She
Okay.
needs to come to the podcast and
Yes.
talk about all of this
She
stuff.
does, yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
she's fun. She's
Yeah.
she's
Well, I
definitely
mean, because
over the top fun.
We're all sitting here going, how are we doing this? We need
Right.
someone to tell us, here's what you need to do.
Right.
And she'll probably say, and here's why you pay somebody, because here's what I can
She's
find for
going
you.
to say it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's the same as anything else. I mean, you pay certain people to do certain jobs because they are going to be so much more efficient and get you more money than doing it yourself.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're writing yourself or you're having someone else write for you. They're very selective on these grants.
Yeah.
And so, you could pay someone to write all these grants for you, and there's still no guarantee you're going to get them.
Yeah. No,
That's
absolutely not.
true. That's
So,
true.
so think about that, too. I mean, if you're delving out all this money that you think that's going to come back to you.
You might
you
still
might-
end up with zero.
Exactly.
And now you've put out all this money for somebody to write all these
Exactly.
grants. But then, like, if you write a grant for me and I'm paying you, I want a copy of that. So then later I could just copy paste maybe what they said and do it
Ooh,
myself.
yeah, I wonder if they do that.
I don't know.
And
really
they may
don't
say
know
it's
how that
intellectual property.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't
know.
know. I don't know
I
how
don't know,
that
but I
works.
want to talk to this lady.
Me too. I would love
Yes,
to find
Mary
out.
Overby. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that you get connected with
Well,
her.
and I
for
love
sure.
that you're applying for grants as well as women-owned
Right.
businesses because we talk about it all the
Yeah.
time. And people say that, oh, well, you're a women-owned business. You got money. Oh, I do?
No, yeah.
No.
Where?
no,
Show
no.
me where. Show me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If you think that, then show me where it is that I'm missing because maybe we are missing something, I think that that's what's great here is that we're learning, okay, here's what you've missed or here's how to
Right.
do it easier or, man.
Yeah, I mean, because it's true. And I mean, I love the fact that you're doing grants as well because it just shows me that you're wanting to progress your business.
Absolutely.
And it takes so much funding to do it. You have to support yourself. And it's like to grow your business, there has to be a balance. But that balance is always on just running the business, not growing the business. And it
Right.
takes outside help to get it
It
done,
does,
whether
it
it's going to be a
does.
loan, but preferably a grant. So,
I think that's a good thing even about this area is that it does slow down a little bit in the winter.
Mhm.
So it allows you that time to revamp and grow
oh,
I
yeah.
agree.
and network and
No.
think, okay, this is what I did last year. What can I do better this year? Obviously,
Right.
it's going to be social media.
Right,
There you
right,
go.
right.
See?
And we made vision boards the other
did.
night, and you could put on your vision
So
board
fun.
social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, you just want to start with one. Start with Facebook because that's where everybody is. But as long as you're on Google, because people are going to Google, I need a locksmith, and you want to be that first one that comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so social media actually helps that
Mm-hmm.
by getting on social media. It's not as scary as it used to be, but I started first. We all started
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my God, here's my first post, and I'm like, let's get this done, and then move on. Right. So
Well, you've got a great business to
Absolutely.
do Facebook posts. I mean, every time you go out and do something, you can be like, if the family doesn't want to be in your picture or anything, it doesn't matter because you'd be like,
Right.
I'm out at Silver Dollar City again because we had a family lock themselves out. Or, I mean,
So
you've
it could just
got,
be vague.
you've
Oh,
got,
sure.
yeah, you can be vague but you've just got stories.
Right.
Like, hey, it is 99 degrees out here today. This family's waiting to get in their car. We are on our way. You could literally be a reel of yourself, while you're driving. How am I way to
Right.
Silver Dollar City right now? And blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah.
And those are true stories.
They are
Right,
true stories.
right.
We show up with water because the kiddos are stuck out here
Oh,
underneath
Right,
the
see,
man.
right
tree.
there. Hey,
Yeah.
we brought snacks for the kids and water because we know they're going to, yeah. I mean, those
Man,
things
that
are
is-
human interest and people
it
are going to
is.
watch them.
It
People
is.
will follow you because they're like, oh, yeah. And you tell these stories and stories and stories. Hey, headed out to the lake today. People can't even get their boat out of the water yet because the truck stopped.
Right.
I think that's
Absolutely.
fascinating because
I do
I would
too.
follow that too
I
because I
would.
didn't even think about, I mean, I think about it like, well, what if somebody loses their keys? But I don't care because I'm riding my ride and I'm having a good time until it's me.
Right.
That's
Right.
like, oh, we flipped over on that ride and there went my keys,
Mhm.
God only knows where that's going to show up or if it shows up. But
Yeah.
then what do I do?
Yeah.
Ozark Mountain Coaster is
Oh.
one of our biggest. And it's on this video. Do not take your keys.
Right.
But at least 2 or 3 times in the month.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
More.
Silver Dollar City tells me not to ride with my cell phone either, but I'm like, I got it. I'm taking a picture. Even my little 5-year-old granddaughter's like, put your phone away. I'm like, okay. I'm like shoving it here, and
Right.
but I want to take it with me.
And then you
Because-
lose it and you
and
have
then
to
I lose
track it, and it's
yes.
under the time traveler.
Right. And someone else said, he's like, I told you, but you didn't listen. Even your 5-year-old told you, but no, you're not listening.
Right.
Yeah, that's me. That's
Yeah.
me. So I totally understand that. And then what do you do, right? So to Silver Dollar City, do they have a list of locksmiths? Like, can they refer you if they
But they
come
do
in?
have our cards.
Oh, good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I give them a year
And
supply.
we
I
have
would too.
worked with their Share It Forward
Right?
department, and so they've paid to have us make keys for their employees.
Oh, wow.
I'll be darned.
Wow.
Nice.
That's
That-
awesome.
that is great.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think you'll do great with social media. You've got such human interest stories that you can pop up that everybody wants to do.
Right.
I love the idea of having, how they put their camera in the car, so you're just talking while you're driving. And I mean, because I love watching those things. Like, people are driving, like, I'm on my way here, blah, blah. And I listen to them
I
because
do
I'm like, oh,
too.
what are they going to do?
Right. What are they doing today? What stupid person left their keys out? Oh, that was me. Like, I always feel like, oh, I could have done that,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty happy at this point. We have a lot of repeat customers.
Good.
Or customer, we are doing good with the word of mouth, but
Okay.
definitely. look forward
Oh,
to the social media.
absolutely. Because you never know. You
No.
never know where that's going to lead or who sees it or what their need is and things that we don't even know exist. And then all of a sudden, here's
Well, that's it
opportunities.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. That's it exactly.
Yeah.
You don't think about it till you need it, and then now what do you do when you need it? And but I also love that you're starting a business, you've done a business, you know what you're doing. What advice would you give for women who want to start a business, who are running a business?
Don't be scared.
Mm,
I mean, you can do it.
Yeah.
And doing it from home is fantastic because you can still wake up. I still wake up every day. I do my thing. I wake my kid up. I take him to school.
Right.
Mhm.
I come home. I have an hour before my business starts. That gives me home life.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I just go to my office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take my dogs out during the day.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Think about the control you have over your life.
Mm-hmm.
I spent the first half of my life building a career,
Mhm.
and I have 20 and 22-year-old sons, and they're fantastic. And I was able to still kind of work from home when I done that. Nonprofit allows you that flexibility, but you spend so many hours away from home
Yeah.
before
Right.
you realize it. You can never get those hours back.
No.
Oh,
Those
you're
boys
right.
are grown.
Yeah.
And so we still have a 7-year-old at home, and he loves it.
Mm.
Absolutely.
We'll make a whole day and be like, okay, this is the day we're not doing anything
Right.
because we
Right.
don't have to.
Right.
No.
Take
You're right.
control of your own life. Don't be scared. Find something that's not done, something that's not saturated, and make it count.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what that is, come sit with us and we'll brainstorm with you
Yeah.
and we'll, find a business buddy and just chat with them,
Yeah.
chat with other people and figure it out. I love that. Like, take control of your life. As you're telling that, I'm just kind of getting the chills. Like, you're right. I can never get back those years that I gave to education and other kids and all that. And that was my life then. But here's a whole new life.
Right, exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a do-over.
It is a do-over and a do-over better,
Yeah.
right? Like, let's do it and let's do it right
When you
this
know
time.
better, you do better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's right.
Maya Angelou said that. And I love that. I absolutely love it. And hopefully we do know better, even though I still have my phone on my ride and my keys, so I'll be calling you like, they told me not to have my keys on the ride, but I did it. And you're like, I know, you told me on the podcast, you're stupid. So here I am.
Oh, funny.
Just human nature,
know.
it's just what we do, right?
know.
That's what we do.
Well, thank you so much, Breezy, for coming in and saying, I want to do your podcast.
Well,
That is-
appreciate it
I was so
much.
excited when you walked in. I'm like,
fun.
oh, yes,
New experience. I had no
Yes.
idea what a podcast is, and now I've
And now
Now
you're
you've
on
done it.
one.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
And you're giving real world advice to women who want to be in business and who are in business. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
do
Expect some
too.
phone calls from up and coming women to chat with you.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
Well, thank you. Have
you.
a great afternoon.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.